Hello, and welcome. I'm your night librarian. So glad you're here tonight. I hope you don't mind. I've put on some relaxing music for you. It should begin shortly, softly in the background. Let's take a moment to slow down together. There's nothing you need to do, and nowhere you need to be. Let's light up the candle. Just a small, warm glow, steady and comforting. Take a gentle breath in and let it go. Tonight, we'll be talking about something simple, something calm, something that you can drift in and out of as you rest. You don't need to stay awake. Just listen, relax, and allow yourself to fall asleep whenever you're ready. This book tells the secret history of dreams. Tonight, we're going on a journey together. A journey through time, through civilizations, through the very fabric of human consciousness itself. We're going to explore something you do every single night, something so familiar yet so mysterious. We're going to explore dreams. For as long as humans have closed their eyes to sleep, we have wondered about the strange theater that plays out in our minds. We have asked, where do we go when we dream? What do these visions mean? And who are we, really, when we slip beneath the surface of waking life? This is the secret history of dreams. Let us begin where so many human stories begin, in the desert, under stars that have watched over sleeping souls for thousands of years. In ancient Egypt, along the banks of the Nile. Ancient Egypt, the gateway between worlds. Picture the Nile Delta at twilight. The sun descends below distant pyramids, painting the sky in shades of amber and violet. In a small dwelling, a person prepares for sleep. But this is not merely rest they seek. This is an encounter with the divine. The ancient Egyptians believed that dreams were not simply products of the mind. They were doorways, portals to another realm where the boundaries between the living and the dead, between mortals and gods, became thin and permeable. They had a word for dreams, RSWT. It meant to be awake. Think about that for a moment. To the Egyptians, dreaming was not about being asleep. It was about being awake in a different way, awake to truths hidden from ordinary sight. In their temples, specially trained priests would interpret dreams for pharaohs and common people alike. These dream interpreters consulted ancient texts, including one of the oldest dream dictionaries ever discovered, the Chester Beatty Papyrus III. This fragile document, over 3,000 years old, contains interpretations of hundreds of dreams. If you dreamed of seeing your face in a mirror, it meant a new life was coming. If you dreamed of drinking warm beer, suffering would follow. Each symbol carried meaning, each vision a message from the gods or warnings from the realm of the dead. The Egyptians even had a god devoted to dreams. Biz, the dwarf deity with a lion's menere and a fierce protective face. People would sleep in Biz chambers, special rooms in temples, hoping he would bring them healing dreams or divine messages. They would recite prayers before sleep, invitations for the gods to visit them in their dreaming hours. Imagine sleeping in such a world, where each dream carried weight, where closing your eyes meant opening them to another dimension entirely, where you might meet your ancestors, receive prophecy, or glimpse the afterlife itself. The Egyptians understood something we are only now rediscovering, that dreams are not random. They are meaningful. They connect us to something larger than ourselves. Mesopotamia, dreams as divine communication. Now let us travel eastward. To Mesopotamia, the land between two rivers, to Babylon and Sumer, where the earliest known human writings speak of dreams with reverence and wonder. Here, in the cradle of civilization, dreams were taken with the utmost seriousness. Kings would not wage war without first consulting their dreams. Entire libraries were devoted to dream interpretation. Scribes would carefully record the dreams of rulers on clay tablets, preserving them for future generations to study. The Epic of Gilgamesh, one of humanity's oldest stories, is filled with prophetic dreams. Gilgamesh dreams of a falling star and a mighty axe, and his mother, the goddess Ninsun, interprets these as signs that a great companion will arrive. That companion is Enkidu, and together their friendship becomes legendary. In Mesopotamian belief, dreams were letters from the gods. The supreme god Shamash would send visions to guide the righteous and warn the foolish. People would sleep in temples, performing ritual incubation, hoping to receive divine dreams that would solve their problems or heal their ailments. But dreams could also be dangerous. Mesopotamians believed that demons and evil spirits could slip into dreams, bringing nightmares and false visions meant to deceive and destroy. Protective rituals before sleep were essential. Prayers, amulets, sacred words whispered into the darkness. The Mesopotamians kept detailed dream diaries. They noticed patterns. They understood that certain symbols appeared again and again across different people's dreams. Water often meant purification or danger. Flying meant freedom or the soul's journey. Animals carried specific meanings depending on their nature. They were, in a sense, the world's first systematic researchers of dreams. They approached the dream world with both reverence and method, both faith and empirical observation. Ancient Greece, the Temple of Asclepius. Let us move forward in time now, across the Mediterranean Sea to ancient Greece, where philosophy and medicine were born, and where dreams took on yet another dimension. Picture a hillside temple at Epidaurus. Moonlight spills across marble columns. Inside, in a sacred chamber called the Abaton, dozens of people lie sleeping on the floor. They have traveled from across Greece to this place, seeking healing. This is the temple of Asclepius, the god of medicine, and these people are participating in a practice called dream incubation. They are prepared for days, fasting, purifying themselves in sacred springs, making offerings. Now they sleep in this holy space, waiting, hoping that tonight, in their dreams, Asclepius himself will appear and heal them. Some will dream of the god touching their afflicted body parts with his golden staff. Others will dream of sacred serpents licking their wounds. Some will receive instructions, herbs to take, rituals to perform, changes to make in their lives. And remarkably, many will wake up healed, or at least feeling better, feeling hope, feeling that they have been touched by something divine and transformative. The Greeks understood something profound about dreams and healing. They knew that the mind and body are not separate, that what happens in our dreams affects our waking health. That belief, ritual, and the power of the unconscious mind can create real change in the physical world. So here we are, just 10 minutes into our journey, and already we have traveled through 3,000 years and 3 great civilizations. Already we have seen that dreams are not trivial. They never have been. Our ancestors knew what we are slowly remembering. that dreams matter, that they connect us to deeper truths, that they are worth paying attention to. In the hours ahead, we will continue this journey together. We will meet medieval mystics and Renaissance philosophers. We will discover what Freud really said about dreams and how Jung saw them differently. We will explore the cutting edge of modern neuroscience and what brain scans reveal about our sleeping minds. But for now, as your own eyelids grow heavy, as your breathing slows and deepens, simply rest in this knowledge. You are part of an ancient tradition. Every human who has ever lived has dreamed and wondered and sought meaning in the theater of sleep. You are never alone in your dreams. Let yourself drift now. Let the journey continue, not just in this video, but in your own sleeping mind. We'll be here when you need us, exploring, discovering, wandering through the secret history of dreams, the philosophers and the dream world. In the golden age of Athens, as temples to Asclepius welcomed dreamers seeking healing, philosophers walked beneath olive trees, asking different questions about dreams. Aristotle, the great observer of nature, believed dreams were not divine messages but natural phenomena, products of the body and mind. He noticed that what we eat affects how we dream, that our physical state influences our inner visions. He was among the first to suggest that dreams might be echoes of our waking experiences, memories replaying in altered forms. Yet even rational Aristotle couldn't fully dismiss the mystery. He wondered, why do we sometimes dream of things that later come true? Why do dreams feel so real while we're in? Why can't we tell we're dreaming until we wake? His teacher's teacher, Plato, had a different view. In his cave allegory, he suggested that waking life itself might be a kind of dream, shadows on a wall, and that true reality exists somewhere beyond what we can perceive with ordinary senses. For Plato, dreams were part of the soul's journey, glimpses of eternal forms and truths. But it was another school of thought, the Stoics, who offered perhaps the most practical wisdom about dreams. They taught that whether dreams come from gods or from indigestion, what matters is how we respond to them. Dreams, they said, reveal our inner character, our fears, our desires, our unexamined beliefs. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher emperor, wrote in his meditations about examining his dreams, not for prophecy, but for self-knowledge, to understand what occupied his mind when it was free from conscious control. Rome dreams of empire. As Greece's power waned, Rome ascended, and the Romans, practical people that they were, took dreams very seriously indeed. Julius Caesar's wife, Calpurnia, dreamed of her husband's assassination the night before the Ides of March. She begged him not to go to the Senate. He went anyway, and the prophecy fulfilled itself. Caesar himself had dreamed of conquering the world, a dream that drove him across the known world, that led him to cross the Rubicon and change history forever. The Romans kept dream interpreters as official advisors. Artemidorus of Daldis wrote the Oneirocritica, a comprehensive dream interpretation manual that influenced Western thought for over 1,000 years. 5 volumes detailing what every symbol might mean, tailored to the dreamer's occupation, status, and circumstances. Artemidorus understood something subtle. He knew that the same dream symbol might mean different things to different people. A ship might represent hope to a merchant, but danger to someone who cannot swim. Context matters. The dreamer's life matters. In Rome's twilight years, as the empire crumbled and a new faith rose from the eastern provinces, dreams would take on yet another significance. The Middle Ages, visions and revelations. Christianity transformed the dream world. The Bible overflowed with significant dreams. Jacob's ladder reaching to heaven. Joseph interpreting Pharaoh's dreams of 7 fat cows and 7 lean. The 3 wise men warned in a dream not to return to Herod. Joseph told in a dream to flee to Egypt with Mary and the infant Jesus. God spoke through dreams. Angels visited sleeping saints. The Virgin Mary appeared to those who needed guidance, but so did demons. Medieval Christianity viewed dreams with deep ambivalence. Yes, God might send true dreams, holy visions that could guide the faithful. But Satan and his minions could also invade sleep, planting false visions, lustful thoughts, heretical ideas. How could one tell the difference? How could you know if your dream came from heaven or hell? The church developed elaborate criteria. True visions from God would bring peace, clarity, humility. They would align with scripture and doctrine. False dreams from demons would disturb, confuse, inflate the ego, contradict holy teaching. Monks and nuns were taught to examine their dreams carefully, to confess troubling visions to their superiors, to fast and pray for discernment. In monasteries across Europe, in cold stone cells lit by single candles, people slept and dreamed and wondered if God was speaking to them. Some became famous for their visions. Hildegard of Bingen, the medieval mystic, experienced vivid dreams and waking visions throughout her life. She saw divine light, cosmic patterns, elaborate symbolic imagery that she painted and described in writings that still inspire wonder today. She called them visions, not mere dreams, because they came with such force, such clarity, such numinous power. They shaped her theology, her music, her medicine, her understanding of the cosmos itself. Saint Teresa of Avila described her mystical experiences in her autobiography, including encounters with angels and demons in dreamlike states. She spoke of the soul traveling through interior mansions, approaching closer and closer to divine union. Were these dreams, visions, altered states of consciousness? Perhaps the categories themselves are less important than the experiences they describe. The sense of encountering something greater than oneself, of touching mystery. The Renaissance, dreams awaken. As the medieval world gave way to the Renaissance, as art and science began their reawakening, dreams, too, were seen with fresh eyes. Leonardo da Vinci sketched his dreams, trying to capture their impossible geometries, their strange logic. He wrote in his notebooks about dreams inspiring his inventions, his flying machines that defied earthly limits. Shakespeare understood that dreams reveal character. In A Midsummer Night's Dream, he showed us a world where dream and waking blur together, where love becomes madness, where nothing is quite as it seems. We are such stuff as dreams are made on, Prospero says in The Tempest, and our little life is rounded with a sleep. The Renaissance brought a new idea, that dreams might be creative, not just messages to be interpreted, but experiences to be valued for their own sake. Sources of inspiration, gateways to imagination. Artists began painting dreamscapes. Writers crafted dream narratives. The inner world was becoming a subject worthy of exploration, not just interpretation. But the greatest transformation was yet to come. The age of reason and the forgotten dreams. As the Enlightenment dawned, as science and reason began to explain the natural world, dreams fell into shadow. They were dismissed as meaningless, random firings of an idle brain, indigestion, as Ebenezer Scrooge would later insist, blaming his ghostly visions on an undigested bit of beef, a blot of mustard, a crumb of cheese. The great minds of the age focused on what could be measured, observed, tested, proven. Dreams, by their very nature, resisted such analysis. They were subjective, ephemeral, unreliable, and so, for perhaps the first time in human history, an entire civilization decided that dreams didn't matter. People still dreamed, of course, every night, but they learned to forget upon waking, to dismiss, to consider their nightly visions as nothing more than nonsense, biological static, the mind's idle wandering. The dream interpreters vanished. The temple incubation chambers were abandoned or destroyed. The ancient wisdom about dreams was filed away in dusty libraries, considered primitive superstition. For 200 years, dreams slept. But in Vienna, at the end of the 19th century, a young neurologist began to pay attention to something everyone else was ignoring. He began to listen to his patients' dreams, and everything changed. His name was Sigmund Freud. We've traveled now from ancient Egypt to the threshold of the modern world, from divine messages to dismissed nonsense. The story of dreams is the story of how humanity has understood itself, the story of what we believe about consciousness, about meaning, about the relationship between the visible and invisible worlds. And now, as we approach our own time, the story becomes even more fascinating. Because in the 20th century, dreams would be studied, theorized, measured, and mapped as never before. But that comes next. For now, let yourself rest in this knowing that you carry within you an ancient mystery, that every night you participate in something humans have pondered since we first learned to wonder. Your dreams are part of this vast story. Freud, The Royal Road to the Unconscious. Vienna, 1899. In a quiet study, Sigmund Freud publishes a book that will change how we think about ourselves. Its title, The Interpretation of Dreams. Freud called dreams the royal road to the unconscious. He believed that beneath our waking awareness lies a vast territory of repressed wishes, forbidden desires, childhood memories too painful to remember. And in dreams, he said, this hidden realm reveals itself, but not directly. Dreams, Freud argued, speak in symbols. They disguise their true meanings because what they really express would be too disturbing, too unacceptable to the conscious mind. So they transform. They condense multiple meanings into single images. They displace emotion from one thing to another. They represent through symbols. A dream about climbing stairs might really be about sexuality. A dream about losing teeth might express anxiety about powerlessness. Every image conceals something deeper. In Freud's consulting room, patients reclined on his famous couch and spoke their dreams aloud. Free association, he called it. Say whatever comes to mind about each element of the dream, without censorship, without judgment. And gradually, the dream's hidden meaning would emerge. For Freud, dreams were wish fulfillments. Even nightmares served a purpose, he believed. They expressed wishes so forbidden that even in disguised form, they disturbed us. His methods were revolutionary. For the first time, someone was taking dreams seriously in a scientific context, analyzing them systematically, developing theories that could be discussed, debated, tested. But not everyone agreed with Freud's interpretations. Jung, the collective unconscious. Carl Gustav Jung had been Freud's protege, his chosen successor, but their friendship fractured over fundamental disagreements about dreams. Jung didn't believe dreams were primarily about hidden sexual wishes or repressed childhood trauma. He saw something grander, something more mysterious in the dream world. Jung proposed that beneath our personal unconscious lies something even deeper, the collective unconscious, a shared psychological inheritance of all humanity. And in this collective unconscious dwell the archetypes, universal patterns and symbols that appear in myths, fairy tales, religions, and dreams across all cultures. The wise old man, the great mother, the shadow, the hero's journey, the divine child. These aren't inventions of individual minds, Jung believed. They are fundamental structures of human consciousness itself. When you dream of a wise guide, you're not just processing personal memories. You're encountering the archetype of the wise old man, the same figure that appears as Merlin, as the Buddha, as the sage in countless stories throughout history. Jung saw dreams not as problems to solve, but as messages from the deepest self. The psyche, he believed, seeks wholeness, seeks to integrate all its parts. Dreams guide this process. They show us what we've rejected, what we've ignored, what we need to reclaim. He told his patients not just to analyze their dreams, but to engage with them, to paint them, to imagine conversations with dream figures, to treat the dream world as real and meaningful in its own right. Jung himself had powerful dreams that shaped his entire life's work. In one famous dream, he descended through layers of a house, from modern rooms down through medieval chambers, then Roman cellars, finally to a prehistoric cave containing ancient skulls. This dream inspired his theory of the collective unconscious, of layers of mind reaching back through human history. The Sleeping Brain Awakens, REM Sleep Discovery, 1953. The University of Chicago, a graduate student named Eugene Aserinsky is conducting a routine experiment, monitoring his young son's sleep through the night. He notices something strange on the electroencephalogram, the machine recording brain activity. Periodically throughout the night, the sleeping brain suddenly becomes highly active, and at the same time, beneath closed eyelids, the eyes begin moving rapidly back and forth. He thinks it's a malfunction. He checks the equipment, runs the experiment again. The pattern repeats. Rapid eye movement sleep, REM sleep. He has discovered something no one knew existed. When Aserinsky and his professor, Nathaniel Kleitman, wake people during these REM periods, the subjects report vivid, complex dreams. Wake them during non-REM sleep, and they report either no dreams or only vague, thought-like fragments. For the first time, dreams had an objective marker. Scientists could observe from outside when dreaming was happening inside. The study of dreams became empirical. We learned that everyone dreams. multiple times each night, that we spend roughly 2 hours dreaming over the course of a typical 8-hour sleep, that we cycle through stages of sleep, returning to REM every 90 minutes or so. We learn that REM sleep is essential. Deprive someone of it, and they become irritable, have difficulty concentrating, their mental health suffers. The brain needs to dream. But why? What is the brain doing during these strange periods of intense activity while the body lies paralyzed? The modern science of dreams. In laboratories around the world, neuroscientists have mapped the sleeping brain with ever more sophisticated tools. Functional MRI scans, PET scans, dense arrays of electrodes recording from thousands of neurons. What they've discovered is extraordinary. During REM sleep, the visual cortex blazes with activity. The emotional centers of the brain, particularly the amygdala, become highly active. Meanwhile, the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for logical thinking and reality testing, goes quiet. This explains so much about dreams. Why they are so visual, why they are so emotional, why their logic seems perfect while we're in them but absurd when we wake. The brain is essentially creating a virtual reality, a simulation as compelling as waking life, but generated entirely from within. Scientists have discovered that the hippocampus, which stores memories, replays experiences during sleep. It's consolidating what we learn during the day, deciding what to keep and what to discard, integrating new information with old. Dreams might be the subjective experience of this memory processing, the brain sorting through the day's experiences, connecting them to older memories, finding patterns, making sense of things. One theory, proposed by researcher Antti Revonsuo, suggests that dreams are threat simulation. Our ancestors who dreamed about dangers and practiced responding to them had better survival odds. Even today, our dreams often involve threats, challenges, scenarios that prepare us for potential dangers. Another theory, from Matthew Walker, emphasizes emotional regulation. REM sleep, is found, helps process traumatic or difficult emotions, taking the edge off painful memories while preserving the informational content. Dreams might be overnight therapy, but here's what's truly humbling. Despite all our technology, despite all our theories, we still don't fully understand why we dream. Lucid dreaming, consciousness in the dream. But wait, there's another dimension to this story, one that bridges ancient wisdom and modern neuroscience. Lucid dreaming, the state of being aware that you're dreaming while still in the dream. Tibetan Buddhist monks have practiced dream yoga for over 1,000 years, training themselves to maintain awareness during dreams. They see it as preparation for death, learning to navigate consciousness when it's freed from the physical body. In the West, lucid dreaming was long dismissed as impossible or extremely rare, until Stephen LaBorge, in the 1980s, proved it scientifically. He trained himself to become lucid in dreams and, while dreaming, to signal to researchers by moving his eyes in a predetermined pattern. The eye movement showed up on the sleep monitors. He was consciously controlling his actions while his brain was in REM sleep. Since then, thousands of people have learned to lucid dream, to wake up inside their dreams, to explore this inner world with full awareness, to fly, to have conversations with dream characters, to ask questions and receive answers from their unconscious mind. Brain scans of lucid dreamers show something fascinating. Parts of the prefrontal cortex reactivate during lucid dreams. The dreamer has reclaimed some of their waking awareness while remaining in the dream state. It's a hybrid state of consciousness, neither fully asleep nor fully awake. Something else entirely, and it suggests that consciousness is more flexible, more multidimensional than we ever imagined. Dreams in the 21st century. Today, we stand at a remarkable crossroads. We have the brain scans and sleep labs of modern science. We have the psychological insights of Freud and Jung. We have the spiritual practices of ancient traditions. And we're beginning to integrate them all. Researchers are exploring how dreams help with creativity and problem solving. Artists and scientists throughout history have reported breakthrough insights coming in dreams. Dmitri Mendeleev saw the periodic table in a dream. Paul McCartney heard the melody for Yesterday in a dream. Mary Shelley conceived Frankenstein in a dream. Therapists use dream work to help clients process trauma, understand themselves, work through relationship issues, not by imposing rigid symbolic interpretations, but by exploring what the dream means to the specific dreamer. Sleep apps track our sleep cycles, trying to wake us at optimal times. Researchers are even developing technology to communicate with lucid dreamers in real time, sending signals that appear in their dreams. And yet, for all our knowledge, dreams remain mysterious, personal, sacred, even. Each night, when you close your eyes, you enter a world that's entirely yours. A world where physics doesn't apply, where time bends, where impossible things happen naturally. You might meet people who've died, alive again in your dreams. You might fly or breathe underwater. You might be someone else entirely, living a different life. This is your birthright as a human being. This nightly journey into mystery. We're 30 minutes into our journey now, and we've traveled from the temples of ancient Egypt to the brain scanners of modern neuroscience. We've seen how every age has tried to understand dreams in its own way. The Egyptians saw divine messages. The Greeks sought healing. Medieval mystics encountered angels and demons. Freud found repressed wishes. Jung discovered archetypes. Neuroscientists mapped neural networks. And perhaps they're all right. Perhaps dreams are all of these things and more. As you drift now, as your own dreams begin to stir at the edges of consciousness, know that you're participating in one of the great mysteries of existence. Your dreams are ancient and modern, personal and universal, meaningless and profound. They're yours, and they are waiting. The architecture of sleep. Before we go further into the world of dreams, let us pause. Let us understand the landscape itself, the stages of sleep through which you journey every night. Close your eyes and imagine yourself standing at the shore of a vast ocean. This is wakefulness, the solid ground beneath your feet, the clear horizon before you. Now, you begin to wade in. The water is warm, welcoming. This is stage 1 sleep, the lightest stage. You're still aware of your surroundings, but they are beginning to fade. Your thoughts become looser, more fluid. You might experience hypnagogic imagery, those strange flashes of vision that appear as you drift off. A face, a landscape, geometric patterns. This stage lasts only a few minutes. A threshold between worlds. Now you move deeper. Stage 2. The water rises to your chest. You're truly asleep now, though still easily wakened. Your brain produces sleep spindles, brief bursts of brain activity that scientists believe help protect your sleep from disturbance. Your body temperature drops slightly. Your heart rate slows. You spend almost half your night in this stage, drifting peacefully in the shallows of sleep. But there are deeper waters still. Stage 3. Deep sleep. Slow wave sleep. The water closes over your head, but you can still breathe. You sink down, into the profound darkness of the ocean floor. This is the most restorative sleep. Your brain waves slow to long, rolling delta waves. Your body releases growth hormone, repairs tissues, consolidates immune function. This is where healing happens, where the body does its deepest maintenance. If someone tries to wake you now, you'll be confused, disoriented. You've traveled so far from the shore of wakefulness that the journey back takes time. And then, approximately 90 minutes after you first fell asleep, something extraordinary happens. You begin to rise, not all the way to wakefulness, but up from the depths. Your brain becomes active again, almost as active as waking. Your eyes begin their rapid dance beneath closed lids. You have entered REM sleep, and here, in these strange, active waters, you begin to dream. The dream cycle, a night's journey. Most people don't realize this. You don't dream once per night. You dream in cycles. 4, 5, sometimes 6 times through the night. Each dream period longer than the last. Your first REM period might last only 5 or 10 minutes. Brief dreams, easily forgotten. The brain is just warming up, testing the waters. You return to deep sleep, then back to REM. This time, 15 or 20 minutes. The dreams grow more elaborate, more vivid. The cycle continues. Deep sleep, REM sleep, deep sleep, REM sleep. An ancient rhythm, a tide that pulls you in and out, down and up, through the night. By morning, your REM periods might last 30 minutes or more. These are your longest, most complex, most memorable dreams. The dreams you might still remember when you wake. This is why, when your alarm interrupts you, you so often wake from a dream. The early morning hours are rich with dreaming. REM sleep dominates. If you've ever hit snooze and immediately dropped back into a vivid dream, this is why. You're in the dreaming part of the cycle. And here's something beautiful. This rhythm is ancient. All mammals dream. Your dog, twitching and whimpering in sleep, is chasing rabbits through dreamscapes. Cats dream of hunting. Dolphins dream in half their brain while the other half stays awake to breathe. Even birds show signs of REM sleep. Even some reptiles. Dreaming is not a human invention. It's written into the very nature of the complex brain, a fundamental feature of consciousness itself. What dreams are made of. If you examined your dreams carefully, night after night, you would begin to notice patterns. Most dreams take place in familiar locations, but they are subtly wrong. Your childhood home, but with extra rooms. Your workplace, but the layout has changed. Places blend together in impossible ways. Your current apartment opens into your grandmother's kitchen. Most dreams involve other people, friends, family, strangers whose faces you somehow know. They speak to you, act in unpredictable ways. Sometimes they are themselves. Sometimes they seem to be composites, carrying qualities of multiple people. There's usually movement in dreams. You're going somewhere, doing something, trying to accomplish a task. Pure contemplative dreams are rare. The dream self is almost always in motion, even if that motion is strange or difficult. Emotions in dreams are often more intense than in waking life. Fear can be overwhelming. Joy can be transcendent. Anxiety pervades many dreams. That sense that something's wrong, something needs to be done. You're late or unprepared or in danger. And logic, in dreams, logic is fluid. You accept impossibilities without question. You can breathe underwater, fly through the air, be in two places at once. The dream provides its own internal consistency that seems perfect until you wake. Time behaves strangely. A dream that feels like hours might last only minutes of REM sleep. Conversely, you might dream of a brief moment that seems to stretch indefinitely. The narrative doesn't flow linearly but leaps, associates, transforms. Researchers have found that certain themes recur across cultures. Being chased, falling, flying, losing teeth, being naked in public, arriving unprepared for an exam, missing a flight or train. Why these themes? Perhaps because they touch on universal human concerns. Vulnerability, loss of control, anxiety about performance or judgment, the fear of missing something important, the nightmare, when dreams turn dark. Not all dreams are pleasant. You know this. We all know this. Nightmares visit everyone, those some more than others. Those dreams of terror, of being chased by something malevolent, of falling endlessly, of watching loved ones die, of finding yourself in situations of helplessness or horror. You wake gasping, heart pounding, sweat cooling on your skin. For a few moments, the nightmare feels more real than reality. The fear lingers even as the images fade. Why do nightmares exist? It seems cruel, doesn't it? That the mind would torture itself, that rest would be invaded by fear. But remember Anti-Ravonsio's theory, threat simulation. Perhaps nightmares are the brain's way of preparing for dangers. By experiencing fear in the safe environment of sleep, we practice responding to threats. Our ancestors who dreamed of predators and practiced escaping them might have survived better when real danger came. Modern research suggests nightmares also help process trauma and stress. When something frightening or overwhelming happens in waking life, the brain works through it in dreams. This is why people with PTSD often experience intense, repetitive nightmares. The brain is trying to process, trying to integrate, trying to heal. It doesn't always work. Sometimes the nightmare itself becomes traumatic, but the impulse is healing. The psyche is trying to digest what it cannot fully accept. Children have more nightmares than adults. Their young brains are processing a world that's often confusing and frightening. Nightmares peak between ages 3 and 6, then gradually decline. But adults have them too, particularly during times of stress, change, or uncertainty. When life feels unstable, dreams reflect that instability. If you experience nightmares, know this. They are not a sign of weakness or failure. They are your psyche working, processing, trying to help you cope with what's difficult. And often, if you can turn to face what chases you in dreams, if you can look at it directly, it transforms. This is one of the gifts of lucid dreaming. the ability to meet your nightmares with awareness and courage. The healing dream. But dreams can also heal in more direct ways. Throughout history, people have reported dreams that brought them comfort in grief, clarity in confusion, solutions to problems that seemed unsolvable. There are dreams of the dead, where departed loved ones return to offer reassurance, to say goodbye, to communicate love. These dreams feel different from ordinary dreams, more real, more present. They carry a quality of visitation that's hard to dismiss. Are they truly visits from the dead? Or are they the psyche's way of continuing relationship, of processing loss, of finding closure? Perhaps the question itself is less important than the comfort they bring. There are creative dreams that solve problems. August K. Cooley discovered the ring structure of benzene after dreaming of a snake eating its own tail. Elias Howe invented the modern sewing machine after a nightmare showed him spears with holes at their tips. The unconscious mind works on problems while we sleep, making connections the waking mind might miss. There are warning dreams that alert us to health issues before symptoms appear. People have dreamed of illness in specific body parts, then discovered tumors or other conditions in those exact locations. The unconscious might detect subtle signals the conscious mind hasn't registered. There are reconciliation dreams that help repair relationships, that show us another person's perspective, that soften our judgment or anger. There are guidance dreams that illuminate the path forward when we feel lost. They don't tell us what to do explicitly, but they shift something in our feeling, our intuition, our sense of direction. The healing power of dreams is not mystical, though it might feel that way. It's the psyche's natural tendency toward wholeness, toward integration, toward health. Dreams are part of the organism's self-regulation, like the immune system fighting infection or the body healing a wound. Dreams and creativity. Artists, writers, musicians, inventors, scientists have always known. Dreams are a wellspring of creativity. When you dream, the logical, linear, self-critical parts of your brain quiet down. The unconscious has free rein. It makes associations that waking logic would reject. It combines elements in novel ways. It sees connections across distant domains. This is why the surrealists love dreams. Salvador Dali, René Magritte, Max Ernst deliberately drew on dream imagery. They wanted to access the creative power of the unconscious to bring its strange logic into art. Writers keep dream journals, mining them for characters, plots, images. Mary Shelley's Frankenstein came from a nightmare. Robert Louis Stevenson's Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde appeared to him in a dream. Stephen King has said that many of his stories originate in dreams or sleep-adjacent states. Musicians hear melodies in dreams. Paul McCartney woke with yesterday fully formed in his mind. Billy Joel dreamed entire songs. Keith Richards woke from a dream with a guitar riff to I Can't Get No Satisfaction, recorded it half asleep, then went back to bed. But it's not just artists. Scientists and mathematicians have breakthrough insights in dreams. Albert Einstein said his theory of relativity originated in a dream where he was sledding down a hill at ever-increasing speeds, approaching the speed of light. Srinivasa Ramanujan, the mathematical genius, said the goddess Nemagiri appeared to him in dreams and showed him equations. The reason is neurological. During REM sleep, the brain makes unusual connections. The hippocampus and neocortex interact in ways that mix recent experiences with older memories. The result is novel combinations, unexpected insights, creative solutions. If you want to boost your creativity, pay attention to your dreams. Keep a journal. Before sleep, think about a problem you're trying to solve. Your sleeping brain might offer an answer. We're 40 minutes into our journey now. 40 minutes through millennia of human wondering. We've learned how sleep works, how dreams cycle through the night, how they can frighten or heal, trouble or inspire, how they are both deeply personal and universally human. In the time ahead, we'll explore even more. The dreams of different cultures, the practice of dream work, the future of dream research, the mystery that remains at the heart of it all. But for now, simply rest in this. You are a dreamer. Every night, you create entire worlds. Impossible, beautiful, strange, meaningful worlds that exist nowhere but in your sleeping mind. This is your gift. This is your mystery. Dreams across cultures, a global tapestry. The ancient Egyptians were not alone in their reverence for dreams. Across every continent, in every era, human beings have recognized that dreams matter. But each culture has understood them differently, woven them into the fabric of their worldview in unique ways. Let us travel now. Let us visit the dream worlds of peoples separated by oceans and centuries, yet united by the nightly journey into sleep. Aboriginal Australia, the dream time. In the Red Desert of Australia, the Aboriginal peoples speak of the dream time, Chukerpa in many languages, a time before time, when ancestral beings walked the earth, creating landscapes, animals, plants, people, laws, and customs. But Dreamtime is not simply ancient history. It exists alongside the present. It's accessible through dreams, through ceremony, through sacred sites. When you dream, you touch the dream time. You connect with the ancestral beings who shape the world. Dreams are not personal psychological events in this understanding. They are spiritual journeys, messages from ancestors, visions that carry knowledge about how to live, where to find water, how to heal, what actions to take. An elder might dream of a waterhole no one has seen in years. The tribe follows the vision and finds it. A young person dreams of a totem animal and receives their spiritual identity. A healer dreams of plants and learns their medicinal uses. The land itself is dreaming. They say, every rock, every tree, every river was dreamed into being. To understand the land, you must understand its dreaming. To know who you are, you must know your dreaming. This is perhaps the most sophisticated dream philosophy on earth. Not dreams as random neural activity, not dreams as wish fulfillment, but dreams as connection to the sacred foundation of reality itself. The dream time teaches us something profound, that the dreaming world and the waking world are not separate. They interpenetrate. They create each other. Native American dreams, vision quests, and spirit guides. Across North America, indigenous peoples have long understood dreams as sacred communication. Many tribes practice vision quests. A young person, approaching adulthood, would go alone into the wilderness. They would fast, sometimes for days, pray, wait, and eventually sleep would come, and with it, a vision. In that vision, A spirit guide might appear. An animal, a bird, a force of nature. This guide would offer protection, wisdom, power. It would become part of the person's identity, their medicine, their connection to the spiritual world. The Iroquois believed so deeply in dreams that they would act them out. If someone dreamed of meeting a specific object, the community would provide it. They believed that unfulfilled dreams could cause illness, that the soul speaks through dreams and must be on it. The Ojib created dream catchers, those beautiful webbed hoops that have become popular worldwide. But in their original meaning, dream catchers filtered dreams. The web would catch bad dreams, preventing them from reaching the sleeper. Good dreams would slip through the hole in the center, sliding down the feather to the sleeping person below. Among many Plains tribes, dreams were shared communally. Each morning, people would gather and tell their dreams. The community would discuss them, interpret them together, understand them as guidance for the whole tribe, not just the individual. This is so different from our modern Western approach, where dreams are private, personal, often kept secret. These cultures recognize that dreams can carry wisdom for the collective, but they are not just about individual psychology, but about community well-being. Japanese dreams, prophetic visions and spirit encounters. In ancient Japan, dreams were considered messages from the kami, the spirits that inhabit the natural world. Mountains, rivers, trees, animals all had spiritual essence, and they could communicate through dreams. The practice of yumiru, dream watching, was common among nobles and warriors. Before important decisions, they would engage in dream incubation, sleeping in temples or sacred places, hoping for prophetic dreams. The tale of Genji, written over 1,000 years ago by Murasaki Shikibu, is filled with significant dreams. Characters receive warnings, premonitions, visits from the dead. Dreams advance the plot, reveal hidden truths, foreshadow tragedy or fortune. In Japanese folklore, the Baku is a dream-eating spirit. If you have a nightmare, you can call upon the Baku to devour it, to consume the bad dream before it brings misfortune. But be careful. If you call the Baku too often, it might eat your good dreams too, leaving you with no dreams at all. This folklore recognizes something psychologists now understand, that dreams need to be balanced. Too many nightmares overwhelm us, but no dreams at all. That leads to its own kind of suffering. The Japanese aesthetic concept of yujin, profound mystery and subtle depth, applies to dreams. The best dreams are not those with obvious meanings, but those that carry lingering resonance, that haunt you with their beauty and strangeness, that refuse simple interpretation. Hindu and Buddhist dreams, Maya and awakening. In Hindu philosophy, the world itself is sometimes described as Maya, illusion or dream. The great god Vishnu dreams the universe into being. When he wakes, the cosmos dissolves. When he sleeps again, it reforms. If all of existence is a dream, then what are the dreams we have while sleeping? Dreams within dreams. Layers of illusion within illusion. But this isn't nihilistic. It's an invitation to wake up, to see through the dream nature of reality, to recognize your true self beyond the play of appearances. The Upanishads, ancient Hindu texts, describe 4 states of consciousness: waking, dreaming, deep sleep, and turiya, the transcendent state beyond all three. Each state reveals a different level of reality. Dreams are not less real than waking life. They are differently real. In Tibetan Buddhism, dream yoga is an advanced practice. Monks train for years to maintain awareness during dreams, to recognize the dream state, to control and direct their dreams. Why? Because they believe that the dream state resembles the bardo, the intermediate state between death and rebirth. If you can navigate dreams with awareness, you can navigate death with awareness. You can choose your next rebirth consciously rather than being pulled by karma. The instructions are precise. Throughout the day, question whether you're dreaming. Look at your hands. Try to push your finger through your palm. Read text twice to see if it changes. Eventually, this habit carries into dreams. You look at your dream hands and realize, I'm dreaming. Then the real practice begins. Flying is just the start. The deeper work is confronting your fears, meeting your demons, dissolving your sense of solid self, recognizing the dreamlike nature of all experience. Tibetan teachers say, if you can wake up in your dreams, you can wake up in your life. Islamic dreams, true dreams, and divine guidance. In Islamic tradition, dreams hold a special place. The Prophet Muhammad received his first revelation in a dreamlike state. Many of his companions reported significant dreams, and he interpreted them. Islamic scholars categorize dreams into three types: true dreams from Allah, carrying guidance or prophecy; dreams from one's own thoughts and concerns, reflecting daily life; and dreams from Shaitan, the devil, meant to disturb or mislead. True dreams are considered 1/4 to 1/6 of prophecy. They are rare and precious. They come in the last third of the night, often just before dawn, in that liminal time when the veil between worlds is thinnest. There are traditions around dreams. If you have a good dream, thank Allah and share it with those who love you. If you have a bad dream, seek refuge in Allah. Spit lightly to your left 3 times. Change your sleeping position and tell no one. The dream will have no power over you. This practical wisdom recognizes something modern psychology confirms, that how we respond to dreams affects their impact on us. By refusing to give bad dreams attention or power, we diminish their ability to disturb our waking life. Many Muslims practice istikhara, a prayer for guidance. You perform ritual ablution, pray 2 units of voluntary prayer, then sleep, asking Allah to show you the right path through a dream. The answer might come that night or in subsequent nights, through feelings, circumstances, or direct dream visions. Dreams in Islam are respected but not worshipped. They are one form of guidance among many, to be balanced with reason, consultation, knowledge of scripture, and practical wisdom. African dreams, ancestors and community. Across the diverse cultures of Africa, dreams often serve as a bridge between the living and the dead, between the community and the ancestors who watch over them. Among the Zulu people, dreams are called amathongo, and they are understood as visits from the ancestors. An ancestor might appear in a dream to warn of danger, to request a ceremony, to offer guidance, or simply to maintain connection. If someone has a powerful dream, they tell the whole family. Together, they interpret it. Often, action is required, a ritual, an offering, a change in behavior. Dreams create obligations. They are not just personal experiences but community events. Drums, multiple rhythms interlocking. The Temi people of Sierra Leone believe that your dream soul can leave your body during sleep and have adventures. If you dream of visiting a distant place, your dream soul actually traveled there. If you dream of conflict with someone, your dream souls met and fought. This explains why you sometimes wake up tired even after adequate sleep. Your dream soul worked hard during the night. It journeyed far. It engaged in battles or quests. The body rested, but the soul labored. Among many African cultures, healers and diviners receive their calling through dreams. The ancestors appear and say, "You are chosen. You must learn the herbs. You must help your people." The person might resist, but the dreams persist, sometimes becoming threatening, until the calling is accepted. Dreams, in these traditions, are not optional psychological phenomena to be analyzed or dismissed. They are lived experiences with real consequences, woven into the social and spiritual fabric of life. What can we learn from this global tapestry of dream traditions? That dreams are universal, but their meanings are cultural. That every society has recognized their significance while understanding them differently. That the scientific materialist view is just one interpretation among many, not the final truth. Perhaps all these perspectives hold wisdom. Perhaps dreams are neurological, psychological, spiritual, communal, creative, and prophetic. Perhaps they are all these things simultaneously, facets of a mystery too large for any single framework to contain. As you drift now, as your own dreams prepare to emerge, you carry within you echoes of all these traditions. Egyptian temples and Aboriginal songlines, vision quests and dream yoga. Your ancestors, whoever they were, dreamed and wondered and found meaning in the night. Their questions are your questions. Their mystery is your mystery. The language of dreams, symbols and meanings. If dreams speak to us, what language do they use? Not words, though dreams sometimes contain speech. Not logic, though dreams have their own internal consistency. Dreams speak in symbols, in images, in feelings and sensations and impossible juxtapositions. A house with endless rooms, a loved one who is also a stranger, flying without wings, being naked in a crowded place, water rising, teeth crumbling, a door you cannot open. What do these symbols mean? Universal symbols and personal meanings. Freud believed that symbols had fixed meanings. A house represents the self. Water represents birth or the unconscious. A journey represents life's path. Sexual symbols appear everywhere, disguised in phallic or womb-like shapes. Jung argued differently. Yes, there are archetypal symbols that appear across cultures, drawing from the collective unconscious. The wise old man, the great mother, the shadow, the anima and animus. But their specific meaning depends on the dreamer's personal associations and cultural context. Modern dream workers tend to agree with Jung. A snake might represent danger to one person, wisdom to another, sexuality to a third, and healing to someone with medical training. The symbol's meaning emerges from dialogue between the universal and the personal. Some symbols do seem to carry consistent meanings across many dreams. Water often relates to emotions, the unconscious, flow, or change. Calm water suggests peace. Turbulent water suggests emotional turmoil. Being underwater might mean feeling overwhelmed or exploring deep feelings. Houses frequently represent the self. Different rooms are different aspects of personality. The basement might be the unconscious. The attic might be higher consciousness or old memories. A house in disrepair might suggest neglected aspects of self. Flying often expresses freedom, transcendence, or escape from limitations. But difficulty flying, or fear of flying, might indicate anxiety about losing control or doubts about one's abilities. Being chased usually reflects avoidance. Whatever pursues you in dreams might represent an aspect of yourself or your life you're running from. Jung said the shadow, the parts of ourselves we reject, often appears as a pursuer in dreams. Death in dreams rarely means literal death. More often, it symbolizes transformation, endings, transitions. Part of you dying so something new can be born. But here's the important thing. These are tendencies, not rules. Your dreams use your personal symbol system. A dog might mean loyalty to you if you love dogs, but threat if you were bitten as a child. To understand your dreams, you must learn your own symbolic language. And the best way to do that is through attention, through recording dreams, through noticing patterns over time. Recurring dreams, messages that persist. Have you ever had a dream that comes back again and again? The same scenario, or variations on a theme, returning night after night, month after month, sometimes for years. Recurring dreams are significant. They're like a phone that keeps ringing. The unconscious is trying to get your attention. Something needs to be addressed, understood, integrated. Common recurring dreams include being back in school, unprepared for an exam, trying to reach someone but unable to get there, being in danger but unable to move or scream, losing something valuable and searching desperately. These dreams often reflect unresolved issues. The school dream might relate to performance anxiety or fear of being judged. The paralysis dream might indicate feeling powerless in some area of life. The lost object might represent something you feel is missing in yourself. Sometimes recurring dreams are processing old trauma. The same frightening scenario replays because the psyche is trying to master it, to integrate it, to rob it of its power. The fascinating thing is, recurring dreams often stop when the underlying issue is addressed. When you finally face what you've been avoiding, when you make the change you've been resisting, when you heal the wound, the dream ceases. Its message has been received. Some people have recurring dreams from childhood that follow them into adulthood. These often relate to foundational experiences, core beliefs about self and world formed early in life. Working with these dreams can unlock deep patterns. If you have a recurring dream, try this. Engage with it while awake. Write it down in detail. Draw it. Imagine talking to the dream characters. Ask them what they want, what they represent. Often, bringing conscious attention to the dream begins to shift it. Precognitive dreams, glimpses of the future. Now we enter controversial territory. Dreams that seem to predict the future. You dream of a friend you haven't thought of in years, and the next day they call. You dream of a specific event, and days later it unfolds exactly as you dreamed it. You dream of danger, and narrowly avoid an accident the next day. Are these coincidences? Selective memory? Or do dreams sometimes genuinely glimpse what's coming? Skeptics point out that we dream every night, often multiple dreams. With millions of dreamers and billions of dreams, some are bound to match future events by pure chance. We remember the hits and forget the misses. We also dream about our concerns and expectations, which influence our behavior, which can create self-fulfilling prophecies. If you dream of conflict with someone, you might unconsciously behave in ways that provoke conflict. And yet, the stories persist across all cultures and all eras. Abraham Lincoln dreamed of his own assassination days before it happened. Many people reported dreaming of the Titanic sinking before it happened. Survivors of disasters often report warning dreams they didn't heed. Some researchers, like J.W. Dunn in his book An Experiment with Time, have argued that dreams access a different relationship with time, that in the dream state, linear time dissolves. Past, present, and future exist simultaneously, and dreams sample from this eternal now. Quantum physics suggests that time might not work the way our ordinary perception assumes, that the future might in some sense already exist, or that consciousness might interact with time in nonlinear ways. But we don't know. We can't prove it. These remain mysteries. What we can say is this: some dreams feel different. They have a quality of intensity, of clarity, of numinous certainty that distinguishes them from ordinary dreams. Whether they are genuinely precognitive or simply deeply meaningful in ways we don't yet understand, they deserve attention. If you have a dream that feels like a warning or premonition, take it seriously. Not because it's necessarily a literal prediction, but because your intuition, your unconscious perception, might be picking up on patterns your conscious mind hasn't recognized. Your dreaming mind might be wiser than you know. Dream telepathy, connection across distance. Even stranger than precognitive dreams are telepathic ones. Dreams where you experience something another person is experiencing, where information is shared across distance without ordinary communication. A mother dreams her child is in danger at the exact moment they are in an accident. Twins dream the same dream on the same night. Lovers separated by continents dream of each other simultaneously. Again, skeptics point to coincidence, to the power of close relationships priming similar concerns and thoughts. But researchers at Maimonides Medical Center in the 1960s and 70s conducted experiments. They had one person concentrate on a randomly selected image while another person slept in a monitored room. The sleeping person's dreams were recorded and analyzed. The results showed weak but statistically significant correlations between the target images and the dream content. The experiments have been criticized and debated. They've never been convincingly replicated, but they raise the possibility that consciousness might not be as isolated as we assume, that minds might influence each other in subtle ways, especially during the receptive state of sleep. Indigenous and traditional cultures have long believed in dream telepathy. Shamans report visiting others in dreams, communicating across distances, gathering information about far-off events. Perhaps this is another aspect of consciousness we haven't yet learned to measure or understand. Perhaps the boundaries between minds are more permeable than materialist science admits. Or perhaps we're meaning-making creatures, finding patterns and connections everywhere, sometimes real and sometimes imagined. The question remains open. Your dreams remain mysterious. And that's okay. Working with your dreams, practical techniques. Let us turn now to something practical. You've learned about dreams across history and culture, about their science and their mystery. But how do you work with your own dreams? How do you remember them, understand them, learn from them? Here are practices used by dreamers throughout time, adapted for modern life. Keeping a dream journal. The foundation of all dream work is simple. Write your dreams down. Keep a journal by your bed, not your phone, which will wake you up and pull you into waking consciousness, but a physical notebook and pen. When you wake, don't move. Don't open your eyes yet. Stay in that liminal space between dreaming and waking. Let the dream images surface. Hold them gently in awareness. Then, slowly, open your eyes. Reach for your journal. Write. Don't worry about grammar or coherence. Don't judge or analyze yet. Just capture the dream while it's fresh. Images, emotions, colors, sensations, fragments even if you can't remember the whole narrative. Date each entry. Over time, you'll see patterns, recurring symbols, themes that emerge in response to life events. The evolution of your dream life. Some people write pages, others just a few lines. There's no wrong way. What matters is the practice, the attention, the signal to your unconscious that you're listening. And here's the beautiful thing. The more you record your dreams, the more you remember them. It's as if the unconscious says, "Oh, they're paying attention now. Let's show them all." Many people who think they don't dream discover they dream vividly and frequently once they start journaling. The dreams were always there. They were just forgotten upon waking. Setting dream intentions. Before sleep, you can invite specific dreams. The ancient Egyptians did this. The Greeks in the temples of Asclepius. Islamic practitioners of Istikhara. Indigenous peoples seeking vision. It's a universal practice. As you settle into bed, after the lights are out, set an intention. Ask a question. Request guidance. Invite a healing dream, or creative dream, or dream about a specific issue. You might say aloud or silently, "Tonight I will remember my dreams," or "I invite a dream that will help me understand this problem," or "I ask for guidance about this decision." Don't force it. Don't strain. Simply plant the seed and let go. Trust that the unconscious is listening. Then allow yourself to drift into sleep. Sometimes you'll receive exactly what you asked for. Sometimes the answer comes in unexpected ways. Sometimes nothing obverse happens, but days later a dream arrives that addresses your question. The practice itself is valuable. It establishes dialogue between conscious and unconscious. It affirms that dreams matter, that the dreaming mind is a resource, that you're willing to listen. Reality testing. The gateway to lucid dreams. If you want to become aware within your dreams, to achieve lucidity, the key is reality testing. Throughout the day, ask yourself, am I dreaming right now? Look at your hands. Count your fingers. In dreams, hands often look strange, and you might have extra fingers or too few. Try to push your finger through your opposite palm. In dreams, it might pass through. Look at text. Look away. Look back. In dreams, text changes when you look away and return. It shifts, becomes nonsense, transforms. Check a clock. Look away. Check again. Dream clocks behave unpredictably, showing impossible times or changing erratically. Do these checks 10, 20 times throughout your waking day. Make it a habit. Eventually, the habit carries into your dreams. You'll be in a dream, and something will trigger the question, am I dreaming? You'll check your hands, and they'll look wrong. You'll try to push your finger through your palm, and it will go through. And suddenly, you'll know, I'm dreaming. I'm asleep. This is a dream. That moment of realization is extraordinary. The dream doesn't collapse. It continues, but now you're aware within it. You're conscious in the dream, lucid. From there, you can explore, talk to dream characters, ask them questions, fly, if you wish, face your fears, practice skills, have adventures. The dream becomes a playground, a laboratory, a spiritual practice. We're an hour into our journey now, 60 minutes through the secret history of dreams. We've learned about symbols and recurring dreams, precognitive and telepathic dreams. We've gathered practical tools for working with our own dreams. But there's more to explore still. The cutting edge of dream research, the therapeutic uses of dreams, the philosophical questions that remain, the mystery that will always remain. Your own dreams are waiting, building, preparing to emerge when you finally let yourself fall deeply into sleep. For now, simply rest, simply breathe. Simply allow yourself to drift in this liminal space, neither fully awake nor fully asleep, suspended between worlds. The journey continues, just ahead, just beyond, in the darkness and the light. Dreams in therapy, healing through the night, in quiet rooms across the world. Therapists sit with their clients and ask a simple question. Have you had any dreams lately? This question, once dismissed by behavioral and cognitive psychology as irrelevant, has returned to therapy, because therapists have rediscovered what ancient healers always knew. Dreams are a path to understanding, to integration, to healing. Let us explore how modern therapy works with dreams, drawing on both ancient wisdom and contemporary insight. Gestalt dream work, becoming the dream. Fritz Perls, founder of Gestalt therapy, had a radical idea. Don't just analyze dreams from outside. Step into them. Become them. In Gestalt dream work, you don't interpret symbols. You embody them. You become the dream. Imagine you dreamed of a house on a cliff overlooking the ocean. A therapist using Gestalt methods might say, be the house. Speak as the house. And you would, I am the house. I stand alone on this cliff, weathered by wind and salt. I'm sturdy but isolated. I watch the ocean endlessly, both drawn to it and kept separate from it by the cliff's edge. Then, now be the cliff. I am the cliff. I am ancient stone, unchanging. I separate the house from the ocean. I provide foundation, but also isolation. I've stood here for millennia. Now be the ocean. I am the ocean, vast and deep, always moving, always changing. I crash against the base of the cliff. I want to reach the house but cannot. I am longing. I am power. I am mystery. Through this process, you discover that every element of the dream is you. The house is you. The cliff is you. The ocean is you. Different parts of yourself in dialogue, intention, seeking integration. Pearls believe that dreams show us parts of ourselves we've disowned, projected outward. By reclaiming them, by speaking as them, we become more whole. This method is experimental rather than intellectual. You don't figure out what the dream means. You experience what the dream is, and in that experience, understanding arises naturally. Jungian active imagination, continuing the dream. Carl Jung developed a practice called active imagination. It's like lucid dreaming, but while awake, you recall a dream, particularly a vivid or troubling one. Then you close your eyes and imagine re-entering it. But this time, you're conscious. You can interact, ask questions, make choices you didn't make in the original dream. Say you dreamed of being chased by a dark figure. In active imagination, you return to that dream. You turn to face your pursuer. You ask, "Who are you? What do you want?" And you listen. You allow the figure to respond, not from your conscious mind inventing an answer, but from the deeper imagination that created the dream in the first place. The figure might say, "I am your anger, which you've denied for years," or "I am your ambition, which frightens you," or "I am your father's voice, which you've internalized and run from." You dialogue with this figure. You might negotiate, make agreements, seek understanding. Sometimes you might even embrace the figure, integrate its energy into yourself. Jung used this method throughout his life, especially during his personal crisis after breaking with Freud. He engaged with powerful archetypal figures that emerged from his unconscious. He painted them, dialogued with them, learned from them. This practice treats the unconscious as intelligent, as having agency, as capable of genuine communication, not as random neural noise to be dismissed, but as an other within yourself, wiser and deeper than your everyday consciousness. EMDR and trauma dreams, reprocessing the past. For people with PTSD, dreams can be torture. The traumatic event replays night after night. The body responds as if it's happening again. Racing heart, sweating, terror. Sleep becomes something to fear. EMDR, eye movement desensitization and reprocessing, has emerged as a powerful treatment. While originally developed for waking trauma processing, it's been adapted for trauma dreams. The method involves recalling the traumatic memory or nightmare while engaging in bilateral stimulation, eyes moving side to side, or alternating sounds or taps. This mimics REM sleep, when the eyes naturally move and emotional processing occurs. Something remarkable happens. The memory or dream remains accessible, but the emotional charge decreases. The fight or flight response calms. The traumatic content becomes integrated as a past event rather than a present threat. Scientists believe this works because it engages the same neural mechanisms that process emotions during REM sleep. When trauma is too intense, normal dreaming can't process it. EMDR provides an assisted way to complete the processing that dreams couldn't finish on their own. People report that after successful EMDR treatment, their nightmares change. They become less frequent, less intense. Sometimes they stop entirely, or they transform. The dreamer discovers they can fight back, escape, or wake themselves up. Agency returns. This demonstrates something profound. Dreams are not fixed. They can be changed. Even the most persistent nightmare is not permanent. With the right approach, healing is possible. Imagery rehearsal therapy, rewriting the dream. Another powerful technique for nightmares is imagery rehearsal therapy, or IRT. It's beautifully simple. You write down your nightmare in detail. Then you rewrite it. You change the ending or the middle, or introduce new elements. You give yourself power, resources, help. You transform the nightmare into a dream you'd want to have. Then, while awake and relaxed, you rehearse this new version. You imagine it vividly, engaging all your senses. You practice the new dream. Something remarkable happens. When the nightmare returns, it often incorporates elements of your rewrite, or it shifts in unexpected ways, or it stops coming entirely. This works because the brain doesn't always distinguish clearly between imagined and actual experiences, especially when the imagination is vivid and emotional. By rehearsing the new version, you're creating new neural pathways, new possibilities, new narratives. You're teaching your unconscious that there are other ways the story can go. This technique is used with veterans, assault survivors, people with chronic nightmares. The research shows it works remarkably well. Not perfectly, not for everyone, but for many, it offers relief after years of suffering. It returns a sense of authorship. You're not helpless before your dreams. You can engage with them, negotiate with them, reshape them. Dreams in grief and loss. When someone we love dies, they often return in our dreams. These dreams of the dead are some of the most powerful dreams we can have. They feel different from ordinary dreams, more real, more present, filled with a quality that's hard to describe but unmistakable to those who've experienced it. The departed might look healthy, young, radiant. They might speak words of comfort or guidance. They might simply be there, present, real, alive in the dream in a way that defies their physical absence. Grief therapists have learned to honor these dreams rather than dismiss them as mere wish fulfillment. Because regardless of whether they're actual visitations or psychological phenomena, they serve a profound function. They allow continuation of relationship. They provide comfort. They facilitate saying what wasn't said, asking what wasn't asked, receiving what's still needed. They help the living gradually accept the reality of loss while maintaining connection. Dreams of the dead often follow a pattern. Early after a death, the person might appear confused, or the dreamer might be confused about whether they are really dead. This mirrors the shock and denial of early grief. Later, the dead might appear to say goodbye explicitly, to give permission to let go, to reassure that they are okay. This often comes at a turning point in the grieving process. Sometimes the dead appear at moments when the living person needs them most, before a major decision, during a crisis, at important life transitions. Whether this is the unconscious providing what's needed or something more, the effect is the same. Comfort, guidance, a sense of not being alone. If you've lost someone and dream of them, treasure these dreams. Record them. They are gifts, whether from your own psyche or from something beyond. They are part of how we remain connected to those we love, even across the boundary of death. And if you haven't had such dreams but long for them, be patient. They often come in their own time, when you're ready, when the barrier between waking and sleeping thins just enough. The shadow, meeting what we reject. Jung spoke of the shadow, all the parts of ourselves we reject, deny, repress. The qualities we consider unacceptable, so we push them into the unconscious. But they don't disappear. They simply operate outside our awareness, influencing us in ways we don't recognize. And they appear in our dreams. The shadow often manifests as a threatening figure of the same gender as the dreamer, a dark pursuer, a criminal, an enemy, something frightening and rejected. But Jung insisted, the shadow isn't evil. It's disowned. It contains not just our worst impulses, but also our unlived potential, our repressed creativity, our authentic power that we've deemed unacceptable. Modern therapy often works with shadow figures in dreams. The key is not to destroy or escape them, but to turn and engage, to ask what they want, to listen to what they have to say. Often, what we fear in the shadow is precisely what we need. The angry part we've suppressed might be defending our boundaries. The selfish part might be protecting our needs. The dark, wild part might hold our vitality and passion. One therapeutic exercise. If you have a recurring shadow figure in dreams, imagine having a conversation with it while awake. Give it a voice. Let it speak its truth. You might discover that the monster in your dreams is actually a guardian, protecting something precious, or that the enemy is a part of yourself trying desperately to be acknowledged. Integration doesn't mean acting out every impulse. It means acknowledging every part of yourself, bringing what's unconscious into consciousness, expanding your sense of who you are to include the full spectrum of your humanity. When you integrate your shadow, the threatening figures in dreams often transform. They become allies. They offer their strength, or they simply stop appearing because their message has been received. Dreams and depression, the landscape of mood. Depression changes dreams. People with depression often report dreams that are darker, more negative, more hopeless. The dream landscapes might be barren, colorless, cold. The emotional tone is heavy. Endings are bad. Efforts fail. REM sleep is also disrupted in depression. People enter REM early in the night and stay in it longer. It's as if they are over-dreaming, exhausting themselves with excessive processing that doesn't resolve anything. Some researchers believe that depression involves a failure of the normal emotional processing that happens during REM sleep. The brain tries to work through negative emotions but can't complete the work, so it tries again and again, creating a vicious cycle. Interestingly, as people recover from depression, their dreams often change before their waking mood improves. Colors return. Positive outcomes appear. The dream world brightens and becomes more dynamic. Therapists sometimes track dream content as a sign of therapeutic progress. When someone who's been having bleak, despairing dreams suddenly reports a dream where they solve a problem, or help someone, or experience joy, it's often a sign that healing is beginning at a deep level. Dreams can also reveal depression before the person consciously acknowledges it. A slow shift toward darker, more negative dream content might signal an oncoming depressive episode. This is why dream work can be a valuable part of treating depression, not as a substitute for medication or evidence-based therapy, but as an additional tool, a way of tracking and engaging with the inner emotional landscape. Dreams, we see, are not separate from mental health. They are intimately connected. They reflect our inner state. They process our emotions. They work toward healing, even when that work is difficult. By working with dreams therapeutically, we're not engaging in mystical speculation. We're using a natural resource, a built-in healing mechanism that evolution has provided. Your dreams want you to be whole. They want integration, balance, health, even nightmares. in their way, are trying to help you process what's too difficult to face while awake. Trust the process. Engage with your dreams. Let them teach you. Let them guide you toward the wholeness that's your birthright. The front toes of dream science, tomorrow's mysteries. We stand now at the frontier, the edge of what we know about dreams, the beginning of what we might discover. In laboratories around the world, researchers are using technologies that would seem like science fiction to previous generations. They are decoding dreams, communicating with dreamers, even sharing dreams between minds. Let us glimpse the future of dream research. Decoding dreams, reading the sleeping mind. In Japan, researcher Yukiyasu Kamitani and his team achieved something remarkable. They used functional MRI to scan people's brains while sleeping. When dreamers reported seeing specific objects in their dreams, the researchers could identify those objects by reading the brain activity patterns. They built a database of how different visual experiences appear in the brain. Then, by analyzing the sleeping person's visual cortex activity, they could predict with reasonable accuracy what the person was dreaming about. Not perfectly, not in detail, but enough to say, this person is dreaming about faces, buildings, transportation. This opens extraordinary possibilities. Imagine being able to record your dreams, to play them back later, to share them with others, to preserve them like photographs or videos. But it also raises profound questions. Are dreams private by nature? Should they remain so? What happens when the last truly private space, the dreaming mind, becomes readable by technology? Other researchers are working on dream translation, using AI to interpret brain signals and generate images or descriptions of dream content. Early results are crude, blurry, but they are improving rapidly. Within our lifetime, we might have dream recorders, devices that capture the essence of our dreams, translate them into shareable media. The question is, do we want this? What would we lose if dreams became recordable, shareable, public? Would they lose their mystery, their sacred quality? Communicating with lucid dreamers. In 2021, multiple research teams achieved two-way communication with lucid dreamers. A sleeping person, aware in their dream, receives a signal from outside, flashing lights, a sound, a question spoken aloud or presented through earbuds. The dreamer, perceiving this signal within their dream, responds using prearranged eye movements or facial muscle contractions. The response is detected by sensors and recorded. They can answer yes or no questions, solve simple math problems, confirm that they received a message. This proves that the barrier between dreaming and waking is permeable, that communication across the boundary is possible. Researchers envision practical applications. Lucid dreamers could practice skills in their dreams and receive real-time coaching. They could conduct experiments, explore questions, work on creative projects with guidance from the waking world. Artists could receive suggestions during lucid dreams and incorporate them. Scientists could test hypotheses in the limitless laboratory of the dreaming mind. But again, questions arise. What happens to the autonomy of the dream, to its wildness? When we bring the waking world's agenda into dreams, do we lose something essential? Perhaps, but we also gain. We expand what's possible. We bridge two states of consciousness that have always been separate. Targeted dream incubation, engineering dream content, Adam Horowitz at MIT developed a device called Dormio. It detects when you're entering the hypnagogic state, that twilight between waking and sleeping. At that precise moment, it plays an audio cue, a word, a phrase, a sound. This cue influences the content of your dreams. If the cue is tree, you're more likely to dream about trees, forests, nature. If it's creativity, your dreams tend toward creative themes. This is high-tech dream incubation, what the ancients did through ritual and intention. We can now do through precise timing and technology. Researchers are exploring targeted dream incubation for problem solving. Before sleep, you work on a challenge. During sleep, audio cues related to that challenge are delivered at optimal moments. Your dreams process the problem with those specific elements activated. Early results suggest this enhances creative problem solving. People wake with insights, solutions, novel approaches they didn't have before. Companies are interested. Imagine optimizing your employees' dreams for innovation. Schools are interested. Imagine students learning more effectively by studying before sleep and having targeted dreams about the material. But ethically, this is complex territory. Who owns your dreams if they are being engineered by someone else? What happens to dream autonomy? To the unconscious's natural priorities? Technology always offers both promise and peril. Dream technology is no different. Shared dreams, the ultimate connection. The most speculative frontier is shared dreaming. Can two people have the same dream simultaneously? Can they meet in a shared dream space? Anecdotally, people report this. Twins, close couples, deep friendships. They wake and discover they dreamed the same thing, or variations of the same thing, on the same night. But proving it scientifically is nearly impossible. Memory is unreliable. People influence each other's recall. Coincidences happen, yet researchers are exploring it. What if two lucid dreamers, sleeping in adjacent rooms with their brains monitored and communication equipment active, could coordinate their dream content? One dreams of a blue room, signals this with eye movements. The signal is detected and transmitted as an audio cue to the other dreamer. Blue room. The second dreamer, receiving this in their dream, incorporates it. Dreams of a blue room. Signals confirmation. Have they shared a dream? Not quite, but they've coordinated. They've created a bridge. Some researchers speculate that with brain-to-brain interfaces, with enough technological mediation, true shared dreaming might be possible. A virtual dream space where multiple minds contribute and interact. This sounds like science fiction, but so did flying, or talking to someone on the other side of the world, or carrying all human knowledge in your pocket. Perhaps in a generation or two, shared dreaming will be commonplace. Dream cafes where friends meet to dream together. Dream therapy where patient and therapist enter the dream space together. Dream education where teachers guide students through experiential learning in shared dreamscapes. Or perhaps not. Perhaps some boundaries are meant to remain. Perhaps dreams should stay private, wild, untamed by technology. Time will tell. The philosophy of dreams. What are we really asking? Behind all the science, all the therapy, all the technology, fundamental questions remain. What is a dream? It seems simple. A dream is mental activity during sleep. But probe deeper, and certainty dissolves. Is a dream an experience? You experience it, Certainly, while it's happening. But once you wake, what remains? A memory. But is it a memory of an experience? Or is the memory itself the only thing that ever existed? If you dream of climbing a mountain, did you climb a mountain? Not physically, but experientially. You felt fatigue. You saw vistas. You struggled and achieved. In what sense did this not happen? The philosopher Thomas Metzinger argues that waking life and dreams are both virtual realities generated by the brain. The difference is that waking life is constrained by sensory input from an external world, while dreams are unconstrained, generated purely internally. But both are simulations. Both are the brain's best guess at reality, rendered as conscious experience. If this is true, then dreams aren't less real than waking life. They are differently real. Both are consciousness experiencing itself. The hard problem of consciousness. Why is there subjective experience at all? Scientists can map brain activity. They can correlate neural patterns with reported experiences. They can predict with increasing accuracy what you're dreaming about by reading your brain. But none of this explains why there's something it's like to dream. Why experience exists in the first place. This is the hard problem of consciousness, articulated by philosopher David Chalmers. We can explain the mechanisms, the functions, the processes, but we cannot explain the felt quality of experience itself. The redness of red, the painfulness of pain, the dreaminess of dreams. Some philosophers argue that consciousness is fundamental to the universe, like space and time and matter, that it's not produced by the brain but filtered through it, shaped by it, limited by it. In this view, when you dream, you're not creating consciousness from neural activity. You're experiencing consciousness directly, with fewer filters, fewer constraints from physical reality. The brain doesn't generate consciousness. It modulates it. And in dreams, certain modulations are lifted. Consciousness becomes more fluid, more creative, less bound by consensus reality. This is speculation. We don't know. We may never know with certainty. But dreams force us to confront these questions. They show us that consciousness is stranger, more flexible, more mysterious than we usually acknowledge. The dream argument. Are we dreaming now? Zhuangzi, the ancient Chinese philosopher, famously dreamed he was a butterfly. When he woke, he wondered, am I a man who dreamed of being a butterfly? Or am I a butterfly now dreaming of being a man? This is the dream argument, explored by philosophers across cultures. If dreams feel completely real while we're in them, how do we know we're not dreaming right now? Descartes used this as a stepping stone to his famous I think, therefore I am. The only thing you can be certain of is that you're experiencing. Whether that experience is dream or waking, you cannot be sure. Modern philosophers have refined the argument. We have more tests now. Physical laws are consistent when awake, inconsistent in dreams. Memories are reliable when awake, unstable in dreams. Text stays the same when you look away and back. But these are practical differences, not fundamental ones. A sufficiently sophisticated dream could simulate consistent physical laws, reliable memories, stable text. And here's the unsettling thought. We might be in such a dream right now. A dream so elaborate, so consistent, so shared, that we call it reality. Not likely, perhaps, but not disprovable. The dream argument reminds us that our certainty about what's real is faith, not proof. A reasonable faith, a pragmatic faith, but faith nonetheless. Dreams and the nature of time. In dreams, time behaves strangely. You can experience what feels like hours in a dream that lasted only minutes of REM sleep. Conversely, you might dream of a brief moment that seems to stretch indefinitely. Time loops back on itself in dreams. You are simultaneously young and old. Past and present merge. Cause and effect reverse. This raises a question. What is time, really? In waking life, we experience time as linear. Past flows to present flows to future. But physics suggests this might be an illusion. That at the fundamental level, time might not flow. Past, present, and future might all exist simultaneously in what physicists call the block universe. If so, our experience of flowing time is something the brain constructs. An interface, a way of organizing experience, not a fundamental feature of reality. And in dreams, this interface breaks down. The brain's time-organizing mechanisms relax. We experience time's deeper nature, fluid, multidirectional, interpenetrating. Perhaps precognitive dreams aren't about seeing the future. Perhaps they're about experiencing time non-linearly, sampling from the block universe without the usual constraints. Perhaps dreams are what consciousness is like when it's not being forced into the linear narrative structure of waking life. Again, speculation. But dreams invite such speculation. They show us that the familiar structures of experience are not as solid as they seem. The meaning of meaning. Finally, the deepest question, do dreams mean anything? The materialist says no. Dreams are random neural firing, the brain's idle processing, meaningless noise. The psychologist says yes. Dreams express unconscious concerns, process emotions, work through problems. They are meaningful in psychological terms. The spiritualist says yes differently. Dreams connect us to realms beyond the physical, to guides and ancestors and divine sources. They are meaningful in spiritual terms. Perhaps all these perspectives are partial truths. Perhaps meaning itself is not a property of the dream, but something we create in relationship with it. A dream is like a poem. It can be analyzed for techniques and sources. It can be felt for emotional resonance. It can be contemplated for spiritual significance. Or it can simply be experienced as beauty without needing to mean anything beyond itself. The meaning we find in dreams might say more about us than about the dreams. About what we're looking for, what we need, what we're ready to see. And that's okay. That might be the point. Dreams are mirrors, reflecting our relationship with mystery, with the unknown within ourselves. We're nearly 90 minutes into our journey. 90 minutes through human history, through cultures and continents, through psychology and neuroscience and philosophy. We've traveled from ancient Egypt to the cutting edge of dream technology, from divine messages to neural correlates, from collective wisdom to individual experience. And what have we learned? That dreams are endlessly fascinating, endlessly mysterious, that every answer opens new questions, that the more we know, the more we realize we don't know. Your dreams are ancient and futuristic, simple and complex, meaningless and profound. They are yours, and they are waiting for you, just beyond the edge of waking. The gift of dreams, a synthesis, Let us pause now. Let us gather what we've learned. Let us weave together the threads of this long journey through the secret history of dreams. We began in ancient Egypt, where dreams were doorways to the divine. We traveled through Mesopotamia, Greece, Rome, watching civilizations rise and fall, each one bringing its own understanding of the nightly visions. We witnessed the medieval mystics who saw angels and demons in their sleep, the Renaissance artists who painted their dreams, the Enlightenment thinkers who dismissed dreams as nonsense, and Freud, who brought them back, who insisted they mattered. We learned from Aboriginal Australians about the dream time, from Native Americans about vision quests, from Tibetan monks about dream yoga, from Islamic scholars about true dreams from Allah. We explored the science, REM sleep, brain scans, neural correlates, memory consolidation. We discovered therapies, Gestalt work, active imagination, EMDR, imagery rehearsal. We glimpsed the future, dream decoding, communication with dreamers, shared dream spaces, and we pondered the deepest questions. What is consciousness? What is real? What is time? And now, what can we say? What have we learned? Perhaps this, that dreams are a gift, a nightly gift that evolution, or consciousness, or the divine has given us. They serve many purposes. They process emotions. They consolidate memories. They solve problems. They practice responses to threats. They inspire creativity. They connect us to something larger than ourselves. But beyond all functions, beyond all purposes, dreams simply are. They are part of what it means to be human, to be conscious, to be alive. Your relationship with dreams. You have your own relationship with dreams. It's unique to you. No one else dreams exactly as you do. No one else has your dream history, your symbols, your recurring themes. Some of you remember dreams vividly, every night, in detail. Others wake with only fragments, or nothing at all. Both are normal. Both are okay. Some of you have been visited by departed loved ones in dreams. Some of you have flown, explored impossible landscapes, lived entire lifetimes in a single night. Some of you have faced nightmares that left you shaken for days. All of these are part of the human experience of dreaming. If you've neglected your dreams, if you dismissed them or forgotten them, it's not too late to begin paying attention. Keep a journal, set intentions, practice reality testing. The dreaming mind is patient. It will meet you when you're ready. If you've worked with your dreams for years, if they are already a rich part of your inner life, continue. Deepen. Explore further. There are always new territories to discover. And if you're somewhere in between, curious but uncertain, simply begin. Start small. Notice one dream. Record one image. Ask one question before sleep. The door is always open. The invitation is always there. Dreams and creativity, your inner artist. Remember that your dreams are inherently creative. Every night, your mind generates stories, characters, settings, conflicts, resolutions. You're a filmmaker, a novelist, an artist, whether you consider yourself creative or not. This creativity is available to you, not just in dreams, but in waking life too. The same unconscious that creates your dreams can help you solve problems, write stories, compose music, design solutions, See patterns others miss. If you're facing a creative challenge, work on it before bed. Load your mind with the problem, the materials, the questions. Then let go. Trust your dreaming mind to work on it while you sleep. You might wake with an answer, or the answer might come days later, but the work began in dreams. Leonardo da Vinci, Nikola Tesla, Albert Einstein, Mary Shelley, Paul McCartney, and countless others have credited dreams with their breakthroughs. Not because they were special, but because they paid attention. You have the same capacity, the same creative unconscious, the same nightly access to inspiration. All you need to do is listen. Dreams and healing. You're in a physician. Your dreams also want to heal you. Even nightmares, in their strange way, are attempting to process what's too difficult to face while awake. If you're going through a hard time, if you're grieving or anxious or depressed, your dreams are working with you. They're metabolizing the pain. They are offering symbols and scenarios that help you understand, integrate, release. Trust this process. Even when dreams are disturbing, even when they wake you at 3 in the morning with your heart racing, they are not your enemy. They're your psyche's way of trying to heal itself. You can work with this healing. Use the techniques we've explored. Rewrite nightmares. Dialogue with dream figures. Bring waking awareness into dreams through lucidity. Or simply witness. Simply pay attention. Simply say, I see you. I acknowledge you. I'm listening. Sometimes that's enough. Sometimes a dream just needs to be witnessed, not solved or interpreted or changed. Your presence, your attention, is itself healing. Dreams and connection, you are not alone. Throughout this journey, one truth has emerged again and again. You are not alone in your dreaming. Every human who has ever lived has dreamed. Your ancestors, going back thousands of generations, closed their eyes each night and entered the same mysterious realm you enter. Across the world right now, billions of people are sleeping, dreaming. Some are having nightmares. Some are flying. Some are meeting loved ones. Some are solving problems. Some are simply wandering through strange, beautiful, meaningless landscapes. You're part of this vast, invisible community of dreamers, connected by the shared experience of consciousness transforming each night, of reality dissolving and reforming in new configurations. When you feel isolated, remember this. When you feel like no one understands, remember that everyone dreams. Everyone has walked in impossible places, spoken with the dead, flown without wings, been someone else entirely. The dream world is a commons, a shared territory we all visit, even though we visit it alone. You are never truly alone in your dreams. You're participating in something ancient, universal, profound. The mystery remains. And yet, after all we've learned, after all the science and philosophy and wisdom traditions, the mystery remains. We still don't fully know why we dream. We don't know where dreams come from in the deepest sense. We don't know what consciousness is or why it exists or how it produces the felt quality of experience. And this is good. This is how it should be. Mystery is not a gap in our knowledge to be filled. It's a feature of reality, a sign of depth, an invitation to wonder. Your dreams will always have an element of mystery, no matter how much you analyze them, record them, understand them. They'll remain slightly beyond your grasp, slightly other, slightly wild. This wildness is precious. This mystery is a gift. In a world that often feels explained, measured, predicted, controlled, dreams remain untamed. They surprise you. They show you things you didn't know were there. They resist full comprehension. Let them remain mysterious. Don't try to explain everything. Don't reduce them to functions or mechanisms or symbols with fixed meanings. Let your dreams be what they are. Encounters with the unknown within yourself. Invitation to sleep. And now, dear traveler, we've reached the end of our journey together. Nearly 2 hours have passed. 2 hours exploring the secret history of dreams. But your personal journey is just beginning. Tonight, when you finally let go completely, when you surrender to sleep, you'll begin your own exploration. You'll enter the dream world. You'll wander through landscapes that exist nowhere but in your mind. You'll meet people who aren't the people you know. You'll do impossible things. You'll feel intensely. And when you wake, you might remember, or you might not. Either way, the dreams will have done their work. As you drift now, as sleep begins to claim you, know that you're safe. Know that you're part of a long lineage of dreamers. Know that your dreams are working for you, processing, healing, creating, connecting. Let go of any worry about understanding your dreams perfectly. Let go of any pressure to remember everything. Let go of any fear about what you might dream. Simply allow yourself to sleep, to dream, to wander through the night's mystery. Gratitude. Thank you for taking this journey. Thank you for opening yourself to wonder. Thank you for valuing your dreams enough to spend this time learning about them. May your sleep be deep. May your dreams be rich. May you wake refreshed, renewed, perhaps remembering something beautiful or meaningful or strange. May you continue to pay attention to your dreams, to record them, honor them, learn from them. They are a gift you give yourself every night. And may you always remember, you are a dreamer. This is part of your nature, your birthright, your connection to all of humanity across time. When you close your eyes tonight and every night, you join the ancient dawns. You participate in the mystery. You become, for a while, more than your waking self. This is the secret history of dreams. And it's also the secret present and the secret future. It's yours. It's ours. It's everyone's. Sweet dreams, traveler. Sweet dreams. Descend into sleep. Let your body grow heavy now. Let the bed support you completely. Let every muscle soften, release, surrender. Your journey is complete. You can rest now. Fully rest. The story of dreams continues without words. In the silence, in the darkness, in the space between thoughts. Your breath slows, deepens. Each exhale releases a little more. Each inhale draws in peace, calm, safety. The boundary between waking and sleeping blurs. You're drifting, floating, suspended between worlds. Images might flicker at the edges of awareness. Faces, places, fragments of dreams beginning to form. Let them come. Let them be. You don't need to grasp them. They'll find you. Deeper now, deeper still, into the warm darkness, into the soft embrace of sleep. The ancient temples wait for you there. The dream guides, the flying, the meeting, the mystery, all of it waits. And you let go, completely, into sleep, into dreams.